Yeah.
I don't want to do the walk-ins. All I want to do is my style. And I'm like, first of all,
You don't have a
fucking style. Like, it's been 11 months, homie. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Not Famous Tattoo Podcast. Dre,
Joshua,
we're hosting the show for you. Welcome back. We've had a couple weeks in between episodes, as usual, and we feel like we have some pretty exciting stuff to talk about today. A lot of it's going to be kind of around like. Again, more about where tattooing is today versus where it used to be. Internet and advertising and getting your word out there and all the things. So we can kind of kick it off with the whole post-COVID phenomenon.
Yeah.
What that did on the internet, what that did to tattooers that were working before COVID, and what that did to bring in new people.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like all those were pretty greatly affected by the Rona.
The Rona belly. Yeah, I mean, biggest thing I'm noticing, we read that post earlier.
Yep.
I can't remember. I'll drop your name later. But pretty much how COVID gave people a lot of time to reflect on customers and what they're getting and what they have and what they want in the future. And then the whole new wave of like young tattooers who saw that time to pretty much buy a kit online and learn how to tattoo during 2 years of just hanging out at the house. And
because like everybody was doing like that, like self-improvement stuff. Like,
right.
You know, people were starting jogging or exercise work at home gyms were a big thing during COVID. And
golf.
Like, golf. Like I did online art classes for kids or whatever. And everybody was on kind of an improvement journey because they had the time.
Right.
And yeah, to your point, I think a handful of those people were like, let's buy tattoo kits off.
I mean, if you think about it, like, dude, what if we were like...
That's a new project for you.
16 or 18 years old, always know you want a tattoo, all of a sudden this shit hits, and then it's like, well, I can't go to a shop now and do an apprenticeship.
Right. I'm not going to school. And when it first came about, nobody knew when thing was going to go back to normal, if ever.
And it just kind of just kept dragging on. And at a certain point, I'm sure people were just like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to teach myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hopefully I can build up a portfolio good enough on fake skins and maybe some friends or family that you trusted at the time where maybe I'll just bring this to a shop and then I can do like an impromptu kind of like apprenticeship, but have some experience.
Yeah, I think some involvement there was like shops went from doing like more traditional apprenticeships to almost like an internship. Like you could tattoo, you just need to be like fine-tuned a little bit. But you did apprenticeship shit. You scrubbed tubes, you cleaned the shop, you went and got coffee or whatever.
Yeah. But I think that brought in just a wave of tattooers that weren't there pre-COVID. And I don't want to say muddied anything up, but it just, the post was talking about how there was 10 shops in his hometown. Now there's 50 plus, and just the overnight growth, the explosion pretty much took place and set in.
Like our old shop in Louisville, like, I mean, let's go back to like 17 years ago when they cracked the door on that place. They were the only game in town.
Right.
Within a few years, there was one other tattoo shop, but I think by the time we left, there was like 7 or 8 tattoo shops.
And this is a town of 25,000
Not a big
people,
town.
like,
not a big town.
And that's only the shops. Like, we're not talking about the people in like the salon or Sola places where they're like doing private studios. And then you have your people like in their house doing tattoos. Like,
There was a hair salon in Erie that had a tattoo artist in the back of the shop.
right.
Yeah, and then to his point, like people were not necessarily needed a shop to tattoo out of. Like I know a lot of people during COVID tattooed at home.
Right. And I mean, so what I think is like, that's all good and dandy. I want tattooers. If you want a tattoo,
you got to
I want
make
you
your
to
money.
tattoo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But the shift that happened was, whether you want to believe it or not, if you don't have some form of a apprenticeship, like a traditional apprenticeship, you're not learning the cultural aspect of tattooing, because like tattooing is more than grabbing an image offline and sticking it on your friend and tattooing them. Like there's so much depth to what got us here to this day, and so many pioneers in the industry that have laid the groundwork to what tattooing is today. Like tattooing is pop culture today. Everybody and their mom has a tattoo. It used to be a subculture where it was like you marked your body by choice and you didn't get jobs because of it, and you were in a certain sector of society where some people didn't respect you, or most. And it's just one of those things where I think the youngest generation of tattooers who like said the fuck the apprenticeship, I'm going to do it on my own, are now taking images offline or having their friends bring them an image, and they are giving them exactly that.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to talk about like the difference between a tattooer and an artist. Someone that takes from online, dilutes the culture by taking, and then people who are inspired by those images and build tattoos
to create their own work
and to put back into the culture.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this a few weeks ago, where I think modern day tattooing, a lot of artists are both. You're a tattoo artist like most of the time, or even as much as you can be. Right. That's the desired. I think most of us, I don't know, I can't speak for most of us. I can speak for us though. And like, I think perfect world, we would just be tattoo artists. Like clients come in, hey dude, whatever you want to do.
Love your style.
Give me a tiger, go, right? Like, whereas like that's the ultimate dream, is all you're doing all day, every day is what you want to do in your style and your way.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, unless you are some tattoo artist that's booked out 2 years and you've been on TV or whatever, there's a certain level of like service industry to what we do, where
for sure
you're going to do those crosses and mom's names and script and
dates,
faith,
birth
and
flowers,
all that stuff. Like that's the tattooer part of your day or your week,
where you got to pay the fucking bills.
Yeah.
And just,
I mean, that's, dude, every time I've got on my books, like a party of 4 coming in here and they're all getting like similar or matching tattoos or whatever, it's like, I always say, I'm like, I earned a paycheck today.
Yeah.
It was just work. And not to say that I don't love tattooing, and because like with those people, usually there's just however long they're here, it's like you get to hear a lot of cool shit about their way of life or what happened to cause them all get these tattoos. And it's certainly interesting on that level, but it is still just earning a paycheck.
You're not like, oh, I can't wait to post this and show the people like what we made today and what came out of my mind or whatever.
And if you do post it, you rely more heavily on
the experience and
the inspiration for those tattoos.
Yeah. It's not the work of art.
The tattoo.
You're showing.
Yeah. You're not. It's
a commemoration.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, there's like that caveat too, where there's that funny meme where like the dude's in bed. I think it's from Dumb and Dumber, where he's like crying with all the hundreds and stuff and like wiping his tears. And I could be wrong about what movie, but where like those little tattoos make a ton of money. Like if I'm working on a back piece for 8 hours, I'm going to make $1,200 in a day, but you could bust out 20 little tiny Pinterest tattoos in a day and pulling like close to $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing to show on your portfolio as far as like cool art, but you make a ton of fucking money off those little ones. So it's also like, which lane do you want to choose? Do you just want to be a tattooer and do everything that walks in that's tiny and you do it for a shop minimum? Or do you want to like do really big art and potentially even sometimes I even do like discounts for like a full back piece in the style that I want to do, because realistically I just want to do what I want to do and I want my portfolio to have some
even
really cool groundbreaking shit.
Good money.
Yeah. Like an 8-hour tattoo at $120 an hour, you're still pulling in close to $1,000. Like,
yeah.
I'm good with $1,000 in a day to do what I want to do.
Yeah, and a lot of times those little tattoos too, they lead to you getting to do bigger stuff that you want to do. You know,
for sure.
They're like, you say you got 5 people coming in here and getting grandma's names because she just passed away or whatever, and I mean, there's no way not one of them has been thinking about a tattoo already, and now they have an experience with a tattoo artist. They've sat with you, they've spoken with you. You're going to get that.
It's
when they're ready.
The opening. Yeah. No, and that's something that we were always taught at our old shop. As you know, like every little tattoo you do on someone for the first time is like your introduction to do way more once they get to know you.
If you're auditioning to be their guy. Or girl.
Because I mean, people trust something like this because we're all just individuals and like bring a certain personality to our workplace. And if you're the type of person that likes to wear headphones and not talk to your artists, there are artists who also like to wear headphones and not talk. And there also are like chatty artists that, who like to talk the whole time. Or, you know, we're always like, if you want to throw in headphones. It's like I
always give the client the option, you know, and you can always tell like if they walk in with a pair of like Dre Beats.
You're just like,
okay,
all right,
I'll be quiet today. I won't talk to you.
You're the zone out type. Which, hey, I mean, getting my back done yesterday, there are moments where I'm like, bro, I can't talk right now. Like, I have to focus on my breathing. This fucking sucks.
We were like. We were gonna record this episode yesterday, but we were like, we got a tattoo. We got shit to do. So we're doing it today. It won't matter. It's still gonna get rolled out at the same time. This might be a good time too to kind of like, because I remember at the old shop when all these apprentices, like a year into their learning, you know, they're taking the walk-ins and stuff like that because they have time and we don't. But they always complain about it, right? You know, they're like, I don't want to do the walk-ins. All I want to do is my style. And I'm like, first of all, you don't have a fucking style. Like, it's been 11 months, homie.
Yeah, like the fact you're even holding a machine right now is like big ups to you for learning quickly.
Right.
But like
I can tell the way you're dressed, you don't have a style. Like, but like telling them too, like, this is how you're going to get to where you're booked out. Because like all the clients that Josh and I are doing back pieces and sleeves on right now, they were a walk-in 6 years ago.
And I did a tiny little rose behind their ear.
Right.
Whatever. Before they even thought they wanted big tattoos.
Right. Like I did whatever. Like you did a small tattoo on them. And because again, that's the audition.
Right.
That's them trying to feel you out. Like, because if you're going to tattoo a back piece on someone or a sleeve, like,
trust God,
you're with that person for hours. And you got to at least get a little days. Sometimes over a year. Like a sleeve I just finished recently. I just got it. It just popped up in my memory that we started it September of 2024. So almost a full year to complete. And this guy wasn't the client that I don't see or hear from for 3 months at a time. Like he was in here every month for like 6-7 hour sessions.
Yeah, and it's
for almost a year. You know? Yeah, he's a big guy. But to spend that much time with someone and to really like give them that much trust and give them that much money.
Yeah,
you gotta like them.
Oh, for sure. Like that's a huge
you know, like
piece.
If I don't like you, like at all,
I don't want to spend
and you're going to charge me
50 hours.
$100 to do my haircut, I'm going to go Great Clips or something. I'm not going to get my haircut by you.
Honestly.
I don't want to give you money. I don't want to spend time with you. And I don't like you. And you know it. You might give me a fucked up haircut.
Right. That too with tattoo artists. And like, unfortunately, tattoos, or fortunately, last forever.
And they're going to hide those dicks in there.
Yeah. You're going to get some shit. I mean, not saying we would, but it's something that's more common than not.
It's popped up in tattoo lore and history before.
Definitely. And yeah, just, I feel like there's just this gap between like people who have been in the industry for 10, 15, 20, 30 years who really understand like what goes into developing a style and developing clientele and blah, blah, blah. Like there was you crawl before you walk before you run. The younger generation, I get it. I'm still part of that in a sense where it's like a lot of us want to fly before we can crawl. And like going back to another note of ours is social media and what it's done to tattooing and how readily available seeing tattoos from all over the world. Obviously, you're going to see that and be like, I want to do that shit. Like,
oh yeah, it's inspirational.
And so it makes you think, oh, I can do that because I can pull a line and shade some black. I don't think a lot of people realize like the toll tattooing takes on your body.
Well, and it's like that's human. That's how people work, right? Like once you see that something can be done, now you know it can be done, and you're gonna and you can do it.
Right, it's like possible.
I'm sure you're the same as me. Like I can look at a picture of a tattoo and it can be in a style that I've never worked in before. And I can look at that picture though, and I can be like, I can tell exactly what they fucking did.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like you and I were talking about recently about the first time they did a backflip on a motorcycle or BMX bike or whatever. Like no one did it until someone did it.
And now
everybody, you see 6-year-olds doing it at your local skate park, like, and it's no big deal anymore.
And they wouldn't have thought to do it before. They're like, yo, that's crazy. I don't want to break my neck. But once you see someone do it, you're just like, all right.
10 years ago, you would have won the X Games.
Honestly.
Bottom line.
Right. Like Tony Hawk speaks about that with the 900. He's like, that was a big fucking deal, like monumental for skateboarding. And then that
12-year-old did it.
It's like throwing like 1260s, like right up. Kid's fucking 6.
Yeah.
Or like younger.
I think he was little.
He was tiny little squirt.
He was little. And, you know, another thing that I know we're getting off kilter here, but like with that backflip, like with the first backflip, like, a lot of pros like dropped out because they were like,
I'm not doing that.
It's more than I'm willing to throw at it. And they knew that if they couldn't do that, they couldn't compete. Anyway, we're way off base. But to Josh's point, like once you see that something's possible, people start doing it.
The human nature kicks in.
Like you're like, I can do that. That guy can do it. Because really, and I tell this to apprentices all the time, I always have, is like, when they are looking on their Instagram and they're showing me pictures that they're like, oh, wow, look at this tattoo that Joe Dierte did or whatever. And they're like, it's amazing. I hope I can be that good one day. Or I don't think I could ever do a tattoo that cool or whatever. And I look at him and I'm like, you know what the thing is though? It's like, you guys are both human. There's nothing that they can do that you can't do.
Right.
You're a human, same as them.
And
they're not Superman.
Biking and skateboarding and all that, like some people are physically gifted to do certain things. Their body are bigger, their muscle structure, whatever, their bounce, their height. Those things play a role in those activities. But like, I will die on the hill of like, people aren't born artists. Like, it's just practice, patience, studying, repetition.
I think you're born with a gift, but whether
I think
choose
you may
to
have
nurture
an
it
eye
or not.
for it. Like some people have an eye for design. They can like rearrange a room by just looking at it and be like, the couch should go there, the table should go there, the TV.
Mhm.
And that's like an eye for like feng shui and design. And that is a gift that I think some people are born with. And I think we both have. So there is like a leg up in that regard. But if you study enough art and you know like depth of field and perception and like background versus foreground and how that plays and blur versus hard lines and all these different concepts within art to make a good piece of art. Once you know those things, you don't necessarily need a good eye anymore. You just need to implement what you've studied.
Yeah.
And translate it into a visual image.
Yeah. Yeah.
You may need to edit and move shit around more than someone who has an eye for it and who just knows like, ooh, let's put that blurred castle in the background, this headstone in the front with hard edges. And like, so that really stands out and you know the balance and you just know those things because you have an eye for it. But I truly believe, like, to what you were saying, don't say you can't make a piece of art because you can. You just have to practice a lot.
You're being lazy at that point.
Yeah.
So it's the difference between like, there literally are probably a limited number of people on the planet that can play professional football.
Right.
That could be a professional BMX rider, whatever, any professional athletic like sport, right? They're built a certain way. They're gifted a certain way with muscle.
Their like brain is wired a certain way without fear.
Most professional athletes, I don't think most people could, like, there's a limited amount of people that can do that. But with us, like, man, if you can lift a pencil,
we come in all shapes and sizes.
And how can you not just tell your pencil where to go? Like,
right.
And yeah, you look across the board at tattoo artists for the years, and there's big fat ones, there's skinny ones, there's tall ones, there's short ones.
Every corner of the world,
all gifted as shit.
Right.
But yeah, because they chose to nurture and improve.
Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And not be lazy.
And that's really what, like, back on top is, it just comes down to like putting in your fucking time.
Yep.
Like, it sucks. Trust me. No one wants to draw 100 Sailor Jerry roses and 20 color variations and 5 black and gray variations of like, our apprentices would literally like tear up and we're like, cool, looks good. Now do it in black and gray.
Do it again.
And like, why? And it's like, because I want you to be able to not have to look at a piece anymore, a reference, and just draw that on someone with Sharpie. And you know where the shadows go, you know where the highlights go, and you just do it. Like, it's second
or
nature
even if,
at that point.
Even if you're like 9 times out of 10, even maybe 10 times out of 10, your stencil is the line work. It's not the shadowing. It's not the different hue changes in the color. Like, a lot of that stuff has to come from your brain on the fly while you're working.
Mm-hmm.
You might have a reference picture, but if you really study all
you just know where to put it.
Depth of field and shadows and how those work, you just know where to put it. You don't need to look at anything.
And that's where your style evolves and becomes something where it's like, oh, you always shade like this, or, you know, I love how the shadow is always high contrast or low, or, you know, or you tend to like go a
long
certain
shadows
route,
or
because that's what you're comfortable with and that's what you think looks best. And then all of a sudden, like, people are now ripping off your work because it looks cool and they've seen it so many, in a castle, in a fish, in a sword, in a rose. Like, now all of a sudden it just becomes your thing.
Yep.
That people are drawn to.
Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, that's a Josh tattoo.
Right. And I think the end goal, to me at least, is I want people to recognize my tattoos
for sure
in a sea of tattoos.
For sure.
I don't want to be
able to pick that out of a
paste
lineup every single time.
And just know. And I think even if it's not like my style, like when I see people's tattoos, where not the tattoo style I do, but the stuff I like I love seeing tattoos in the public and being like, oh, did XY do that? And they're like, yeah, actually they did. Like, how'd you know? And I'm like, I just know their art, you know? And that's super dope. And
it's super dope.
I think, to me, that is, I don't care if you're doing the most like basic American trad or whatever with 3 colors and bold lines. Like, if I can pick your tattoo out in the public, that's almost cooler than like some realism stuff I see, because it's like, I know exactly who did that.
Mhm.
That's rad.
Yeah, if your
That they
style's
developed that.
Yeah. And
Because
there's
it's almost harder to do than do a realism piece. Is truly defining a style that's like true to you
and recognizable
Yeah.
every single
That's
time.
that's fucking the goal, in my opinion. So yeah, man. I mean,
So
getting your art out there.
Yeah. So getting to a point where you can create your own style and promote it. So obviously the internet, right? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you do. But like 10 years ago, those social media platforms that people were starting to use, like it was like free advertising, and it was a leg up for the people that were taking advantage of those Instagram, TikTok, whatever, to promote their work or their tattoo shops or whatever. But then at some point where we are now, like everybody's using Instagram, everybody's using TikTok, everybody's doing whatever they're doing. And so now it's no longer like unique. So
how do you get out of, because the debate right now is, are there too many artists? The algorithm sucks. Instagram only wants to push big name artists with tons of followers or certain sounds and songs you put in or whatever, and you got to play the game. And it's like, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, there are aspects to that complaint that make sense, but like at the end of the day, you just got to stop fucking copying people. That's kind of said in that post. It was like, the reality is that a lot of us don't want to hear is like, your work looks like everyone else's. Like, you need to like stop taking from the internet, whether it's Pinterest, Google, all the platforms, like, and just sit down and draw something. Like, find an old fucking painting, draw it in your style, and then do that 10 more times, and now you have like, you just birthed something new that hasn't been done before. And that's like what we're missing, in my opinion. Like, I can't tell you how many amazing traditional artists are in the world, but I almost get fearful sometimes to post trad pieces that I fully drew on my own, or like posting Flash, because it's like, I mean, I already know, like, I'm going to see my tattoo that I drew out in public line for line and just be like, well, I'm the one that gave them that by posting it online. And they've tattooed it and I haven't. But that's just the reality of the internet.
Yeah. I mean, we're in that culture now where it's like I said, I think it was last episode, where like with all the Pinterest and people copying each other off the internet. And I mean, I've seen artists just like literally take designs like right off the internet, draw right over it, barely change it, and
like, probably not even,
and call it their own. Yeah, it change if any. Where it's like we're going back to the Flash days, right? Like, there's only so many drawings out there, and everyone's just copying them. It's like kind of what happened before. People would draw Flash and they'd sell it to the shops in your area.
Right.
Bob's shop would have it, but Jeff's wouldn't, but Steve's did. And like, they were all just tattooing the same shit.
Yeah.
And I think if we're not careful, we're going to wind up with a bunch of matching tattoos on everybody that's got tattoos. And you're going to see your designs on
other people down the road.
Alan's clients, or I'll see my work on Sarah's clients or whatever. Like, all these different people are just going to be, just tattooing your shit. And you'll be tattooing people's shit.
Right. You know? Yeah. Because that's just like what we're doing. Like,
what we're doing.
Fuck it.
Let's all just be Xerox machines and copy shit. But if you if you have a good original style and what you're pumping out, like, makes people like, what the fuck? Like,
and you'll be noticed in that regard, and you will get more clients if you draw original art in this industry. You will, and at least if not get new clients, you'll be at least respected by your peers because they'll be like, oh, you're that person that draws this. Like, oh, I love your work. I followed you for a year or 2 or 5 or, and like, I mean, I'm not like Mr. Egotistical, but like, I want respect from my peers. I mean, I try really hard. I don't tattoo for the common people. I tattoo with tattooers in mind. Like, are they going to think that it's good? Does it look solid to them? Because if like some of the best in the world can tell me like, bro, your shit's fucking, it's nice. That means a lot more to me than someone who's never picked up a machine just because they know how hard it is to develop a style and lay down a solid tattoo that feels well.
Every tattoo you do, same with me, when I'm actually in the zone tattooing it on my client, like what's going through my head is like, I got to make this thing bulletproof. I want the line work to be sweet. I want the saturation to be there. I want the wall to wall. I don't want any holidays in there. It's wild though. I think the tattoo industry is supporting copying.
Yeah.
It's not supporting or promoting individuality anymore or a custom drawing.
I can agree because I mean, and that goes into like owning a shop. And I mean, if you got this guy drawing goofy ass flash in the back of like some neo-Japanese and it's fucking badass art, but no one's buying it, that artist is not making you any money. The shop owner at one point is going to be like, bro, stop drawing that and like just post a bunch of Pinterest shit. And like all of a sudden, oh, I'm booked for the rest of the week with palm-sized Pinterest flowers. Yep. And now all of a sudden that shop owner got a paycheck and that artist got some money in their pocket and they're like, well, this works. So
yeah. I mean,
maybe like, I should stop drawing that crazy stuff.
But that no one wants. And then that's where the industry is not supporting that.
Right.
It's like, because there's always like tattoo trends, right? Like that people follow. For sure. Like you see a flood of owl tattoos or a flood of dragon tattoos or whatever it is. And the industry does do that, but that's just subject matter. So that could be open to any interpretation,
right? By
any style, any artist. But yeah, like with, if that guy in the back of the shop that's doing these really cool, creative, out there pieces and no one's buying it, you got to reward that behavior, or I don't know what to do, but like, yeah, it's definitely not being.
I think you almost have to let them go where it's like, not like you're fired, but it's like, hey man, we are in backwoods, Idaho. No one wants that shit over here. Like, they want this type of stuff. And it's like, if you want to embrace that style and who you are and be the artist that you're supposed to be, you may need to like,
you might consider
relocating to like Los Angeles or San Diego or New York City or Miami, where like
Dallas.
Now your pool is so much bigger and the variety of tattoos that are worn are highly more acceptable than in a place like this where selling that stuff just may not ever click.
Yeah. I mean, when I started, I wanted to do American traditional, and
soon found out Louisville doesn't wear that stuff.
Louisville wanted neo-trad flowers, and that was it. And so but what did I do? I adjusted.
Yeah.
Like I did my American traditional pieces for the ones that would want to and would let me do that on them. But if I was drawing and posting or just to try to get new people in the chair, it wasn't ever.
You know what you got to do.
An anchor tattoo. It was flowers,
some peonies, and yeah. Because I mean, and that's something you got to know as a tattoo artist. Like, where are you at, and what do the people want? Unless you're in a big city, you can draw whatever you want, but you kind of have to like, you can always draw what you want for fun on the side and have that arsenal of your flash book that's just crazy and extravagant. But then you have your stuff that you're like pumping on your social media for the locals when you're running like sales or just trying to get new clients in the door. I know I have a way better chance posting like mountains and flowers and little animals and stuff in Colorado than I do doing like Hanya masks and like swords and
Sure.
just knowing what types of people around me get what. I'm still gonna draw all that other stuff, but
yeah, I wonder if because of our move, because Louisville and Wheat Ridge are pretty different.
Yeah,
as far as you look at like demographic and culture. I wonder if after we're here and we're established a little bit more, like what effect that will have on the kind of tattoos that we're doing out of here.
I think it'll be really
versus
cool
what we were able to sell in Louisville.
I think it'll be really cool to see. I think our spectrum has been broadened a bit with, and just seeing what people like are producing in the shops that were in our neighborhood at the old shop versus what we see being produced in the neighborhood in this shop or this area. It's vastly different. The types, the sizes, the clientele, like it. I think we have more of an ability to get a little more out there with our design process, and
I think our competition's stiffer out here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have some of the country's. It's really hard to rank tattoo artists on a scale, but what I see people doing within 2 miles of this door
versus
can hang with the world's best tattoo artists. Like they're fucking killers.
For sure. Versus, I feel like in Louisville, we were
the best shop.
We were the best shop, hands down. Every single time.
For sure.
But
100%. Doesn't doubt.
But out here, it's which is great because, like, what's that old saying? Iron sharpens iron. Like, if you're in a shop with a bunch, or if you're in an area where the competition, like, you are the king shit in your area, you'll just stay right there. There's no need to evolve because you're already the tippy top.
Right.
But when you move to a shop like we did, it's there's more tattoos out here, more tattoo shops close to us here than there were at our shop in Louisville. But then you pile on the extra fact that, like, all these extra shops that are around us here, they've all got at least one, maybe two, like, superstars.
Yeah.
So that's gonna, that'll make you evolve. That'll make everybody get better.
I think that it's quick story time. Like, I used to not sleep a lot when I lived in Hollywood, Los Angeles, because my goal was to get into galleries. And I knew on my street, there's 500,000 people in 10 mile direction,
right?
Maybe more. And 20% of them are fine artists or want to be fine artists. And we are all competing for 5 galleries, 20 spaces on the wall.
20 square feet of vertical.
I sleep real easy in my current home in Colorado, knowing, like, I'm not the best, I'm not the worst. I'll be all right out here. But, like, that sense of urgency of, like, I am not going to be shit if I sleep when I know these people down the street are taking drugs and staying up all night and just painting. Like, and then they have the money to, like, have the space, and I'm over here in my, like, 1-bedroom apartment where I'm like, oh, fuck, it's just
corner.
The urgency is strong and it's there, and I think that really helped propel me. It's kind of like a weeder. You're either going to leave and be like, I can't fucking compete. I can't do this. This is just too much. Or you just say, like, I guess we're only sleeping 5 hours a night, and, like, it's my only option. Wake up, paint, rinse and repeat. Like, that's what they're doing. So that's I'm just going to sleep less and work harder.
If you want to remain viable and like a thing.
And it's a competition at the end of the day. Like, people don't like being super competitive, but, like, if they're taking your clients, unfortunately, they're winning at the end of the day. I'm not trying to take people's clients, but we all need to eat, and you got to show up and do your work.
If you're doing a great product, then you're not necessarily taking clients, you're earning them, though.
100%. I saw a post, and we'll get back on schedule, but it was about Monday Malarkey yesterday was saying, if you're taking work that you probably shouldn't be taking and that may be out of your ability, you're the problem in the industry. And one of the top comments that I actually related more with was Ed Hardy said in the past, the only way to grow is to do projects that you're uncomfortable with, and you're supposed to take them and do it to the best of your ability. I mean, if you want something that is completely out of my wheelhouse, I'm always going to give it to the best artist in the shop, because I'm like, bro, I don't do color baby face portraits. That's just like, I'm not going to give you a hack job, but like this guy is going to do it way fucking better. Like,
Right.
go talk to Dre.
You hand it off.
Yeah. And so like, I always try to keep it within the shop, but I kind of disagree with like, you need to evolve, you need to grow, you need to be uncomfortable to be better than you were yesterday. And I don't think people are a problem in the industry by just creates more work. If you fuck up a piece, they're just gonna go
now they need to
see
cover
someone
a rework or whatever.
Better, you know,
to me, that's a really tricky. It's an interesting.
It goes both ways.
Thought, but it's tricky because like, you know, yeah, at some point you have to just try it. Like if that's what you want to do, or you want to evolve your style into something different, then you just got to try it. And we've all like, I think anytime I've tried to make a change in my style, I've just gone on my social media and I'm like, hey, look into tattoo portraits or whatever. And I'll do 5 of them. Like I need the right client, you know, I'm new to this. So they're probably going to be fine, but I'm learning.
Yeah.
So, but in exchange for that, I'm going to give you a discount if you come to me, or do them for free. I did so many free portraits when I first started going in that direction. But, you know, another thing I do know that you and I wanted to cover today was like, when is the right time,
right,
to take on those larger scale projects, or, you know, because like,
out.
Yeah, because in a tattoo situation, like to be ready, eventually you have to just do it. But also, if you're not ready and you do try to be ready, then I mean, you can really mess someone's life up, you know, like, and it's tricky, and it's a blurry line to know when.
I would like to say, and this is why apprenticeships are important, because your mentor, master, whatever you want to call them, they know your ability better than you know your ability.
For sure.
And you can't be in the shop where the blind's leading the blind and we're all 3-year fucking artists and we're all doing same type Pinterest shit. Like, I grew because you and our old shop owner told me I was ready when I didn't think I was ready. This black and gray sleeve came in like, dude, do you want to do it? And you guys would be like, fucking do it, bro. Like, you're gonna do it well. Stop doubting yourself.
Right.
But you knew better than I knew because you watch me. It's so much harder from your own eyes to know what you're capable of.
100%.
I know exactly what you're capable of. I know what Katie's capable of. I don't really know what I'm capable of, but you, because you've removed the doubt and all the things.
Yeah.
You don't think of what I think of when I make something. Like, you just know, yeah, he can do that, or I don't know, he can do that. Like, because you've seen it.
Yeah, my mentors did the same for me. Like, I remember I did a consult early on with a guy that wanted a back piece, and he was a friend of one of my friends or whatever, so he just wanted to support me. And I didn't think I was ready. I handed it off. I actually didn't do it. But then I tried to hand it off to one of my mentors, and then he was like, no, you can do it. And then I was like, are you sure? And then I went back to the client and I was like, hey, my mentor says like, I'll do it. But now we've created doubt.
Right.
And then that guy just, I don't know.
He's like,
he just walked out the door. But yeah, like to that point, that's when you like listen to your mentors if you have them. But to what you just said, like get an apprenticeship and get one. Like I had some old advice given to me years ago by an old school kind of tattoo guy, and I was at a point where I was getting pretty good, learning on my own, and I had to make a decision, like, because I wanted to be in a shop. So I was like, do I need to get an apprenticeship, or should I try to get into a shop with this body of work? And as I was like trying to figure all that out, what I was going to do, he was like, if you go the apprenticeship method or you go that direction, pick your mentor wisely, because you're only going to be as good as your mentor.
Sure.
And to your point of like so many shops now where the owner has been tattooing for 3 years, and then now they're taking apprentices under their wing, and like you just said, blind leading the blind, like they don't know if you're ready,
Right.
Because they're not even ready.
No. I want to look at my mentor's work and be like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to be like you.
Right. Or goals, or one day, or
Yeah.
like,
because that's going to instill. I'm just going to try my hardest to kind of put a candle to what you do.
Right.
And I'm just going to watch you and learn and learn and learn.
But if you go apprentice at a shop and you're the best guy in the room, you're not going to learn. You're going to degrade. You're going to go back the other way.
Yeah, 100%.
You'll get worse.
You'll literally, you're just going to be tattooing the same shit all the time and like not grow, because you don't really, we get so locked into our shops and like what's going on in there. And obviously we see work online, but it's a picture. It's this big. When I started seeing those body suits and sleeves and the saturation in person and all that, I didn't even want a color piece on me until I was like in convention seeing back pieces and at the shop seeing that. And I'm like, it's kind of fucking sick. Like,
yeah, your whole back is color.
Yeah, it's like, so that inspiration, you need that around you, especially when you're young. I believe after you tattoo for 10 years, you've developed a style, you're solid with your technical ability.
Yeah.
Then you can get your inspiration elsewhere. But like for your first decade, sit in the shop and watch and learn from people who are really, really great at what they do.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the things that I thought was cool, and like probably made it very successful about the old shop, that all the owners and senior artists and stuff like that were able to help with apprentices. And so if you apprentice at that old shop, you arguably had 3-4 mentors.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Who were really fucking good.
Which is interesting that I'm now saying that, because it's like over the past 4 or 5 years of that shop, like the people that apprentice there, like they got, most of them, not all, but they got good really fast.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's not the difference between like having one mentor and having 4. Like, because now those 4 guys or girls that are mentoring you, they don't all have the same style. So now you're getting
their approach.
Like, you're getting, everything's different, right? A little bit. Their process, the way they create the drawing, the way they put the tattoo on,
stencil application.
You've got like a whirlwind of technical advice off of 4 people versus 1, obviously.
And now you get to pick and choose. You lay a stencil different than me. I lay a stencil different than Katie. Like, what works for you?
Yep.
And how your hands and eyes work. Now because if you learn from one person, which I actually was always more into like the single mentor, because you pick your mentor based on the style you like, and then you just learn everything about that style. But to what you're saying, Junkyard was building tattooers. They weren't building single-minded, single-style artists. It was, we want you to be able to do a black and gray portrait. We want you to do clean script. We want your lines to be bulletproof for when you do thick-ass traditional pieces. And now you get to choose rather than... Because, we developed so much. What I came into the tattoo industry wanting to do is so different than, like, what I ended up being good at and what I do today.
Same.
And so I think you need that exploration with multiple mentors or a handful of different artists who are really good at what they do to, like, show you the path of how to get to those different goals or
Yeah.
styles or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And like in our notes, we put that we were going to talk about like having a mentor that is always at the shop. You always go to the shop, you help them there, you tattoo, you learn there, you watch them, almost them exclusively. Versus if you have a mentor that takes you to 5 conventions a year.
Yeah, that was
Now
really
you've got the whole world to look at, really.
I think because even with what I saw at Junkyard was fucking awesome, amazing, shit I'd never seen before. But there is something to traveling and seeing artists from around the world and just even the products they use and just the way, I mean, we all do different things and culturally, and to like be exposed to, holy shit, I've never seen a back be done in full color in 3 days.
Right.
What's the difference? Oh, this guy uses fucking 36 mags to shade or color pack or whatever, you're just like, you just start seeing like different, because we all like our certain needle groupings and we have our approach to how we do things. And when you see 5 artists doing that, like, hell yeah, 5 of them are going to do 5 different ways, but there's 1,000 ways to do something, and being exposed to that variety at conventions or guest spots or whatever, like, I would say if you're willing to travel, spend the money on some convention tickets. Like, go see what's out there.
And now you can they have like seminars at conventions, and that's worth it. I mean, I've taken a handful of those over the years, and just the inspiration alone off of coming out of one of those was worth the $100, $150 fee to get into it.
Even upwards of, $1,000, like we talked about the other day. Like, machines are expensive to those that are just starting and they don't know how much this stuff costs, but $1,000 for a machine isn't a ton of money when you're able to make X amount of money a week off of that machine.
Right. You can make $300,000 off of it over a couple of years,
Exactly. And a seminar, $1,000, that's fucking crazy. Like, no, people spend $250,000 to go to college.
Yeah.
Walk out.
All right. Welcome back. Our phone camera died. We knew we were riding a line with some limited battery power, but anyway, where it cut off, quick interjection. I do think continued education is important as artists. I feel like what we do is just too important to not continually learning. Like, I feel like you should always be like have the thirst to learn more and because there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, like some ways are going to work better for you, some aren't.
And you don't want to get stuck in a box. It's just the stagnant complacency is not the place you want to be in. Anything that you want to be great at, it's important.
It's not a good look.
It's important.
Anyway, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
So that was crazy. Like, the camera died, but it almost died. It was perfectly 8 minutes off or something like that.
And just a whole lot of, I think we're good. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we sat here for a little bit. Like, are we done? Did we finish? Did we talk? Yeah, we're
done.
Anyway, thank you so much as always for joining in. Like, subscribe, follow,
comment, share, please share.
Sharing is big. Josh just brought that up, and I think, just help us spread the word, man. We're, like I said, we're a podcast for the people, and we're just trying to
shed some light on
help out
a culture that's not that known about to the masses, so
that we love a lot.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much. Till next time.
We'll see you next week.
Adios,
amigos.